Welcome to Topper Talk, your number one Western Kentucky athletics podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Moffitt, and I'm joined by co-host Tyler Bailey. Hilltopper Nation, whether it's happening on the hill or on the road, grab those red towels, stand up and cheer, because it's up next on Topper Talk. Welcome back, and thank you for downloading and listening to another episode of the Topper Talk podcast, the official podcast of the Red Towel Trust Collective, and also the College Huddle community. As always, follow us on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Just search Topper Talk. You'll find us there. And this podcast is sponsored by the Fireman Moving Company. They are the official moving company of WKU Athletics. Not only can they be trusted to move all the coaches in and out of Western, but they can move you anywhere nationwide. The Fireman Moving Company is owned and operated by firemen and is founded by WKU alumni. If you're looking to move sometime soon, give them a call at 270-791-1755 and get yourself a free quote. It'll be worth every penny that you have to spend. They're professionals. They're fast. They're reliable. They'll get you moved. I promise you. Got Tyler here with me, man. We've got a big episode to jump into, man. You ready to dive in?
Yeah, man. Let's jump into it and see what we can get ourselves into.
But before we do that, as always, we've got to jump into the Red Towel Wrap-Up, which catches us up on all the WKU athletics that we've missed in the last week since we've recorded, which is sponsored by Trent Bedding Company. So let's get a word from them.
Don't forget your headboard, pillows, and your sheets. We got everything you need for a good night's sleep. Number one on the same check, best of Bowling Green. All right. Hey!
Twins, full, queen and king, mattresses for anything. Come and pick it out and we can bring it to your house. Have you sleeping real good before the weekend's out. Trent Bedding. It's just like a mattress store. Hey.
I still can't do it after all these times. All right. So to kick things off, we're going to jump into men's golf. They finished 7th in Conference USA Championship last week. Graduate student Luke Fuller finished first overall, the Hilltoppers' first individual title since 2006. Fuller will head to the NCAA Regionals.
Yeah, they were competing last week when we recorded. So, yeah, I think they were going into the second round or the last round as we recorded last week. So, the Hilltoppers ended up finishing 7th as a team, but Luke Fuller was able to take home the singles championship. First individual title since 2006, pretty huge. We also had Katie Craig that qualified on the women's side. So, 2 of our Hilltoppers going to the NCAA Regionals next week is pretty awesome.
All right, and then moving on to baseball, they lost a midweek bout to Louisville to the tune of 16-5. Moving on to track, they competed in the Music City Challenge. Freshman Devin Rogers finished second in the javelin throw. Luke Stegman finished third in the discus throw. Grace Turner and Sophia Roskowski tied for 5th in the pole vault. Katie Eisenbarger broke her own record, surprise, by clearing 1.88 meters and winning the high jump. Nick Farnoff cleared 2 meters in the high jump and finished second. Kaysen Barton, friend of the show, finished second in the hammer throw. Ayla Basic finished 4th in the women's hammer throw. And Brunel Dezenor finished 4th in the 400-meter run. As always, full results can be found on WKUsports.com.
Yeah, a lot of good results there. They were competing close to home Music City Challenge down in Nashville. I think it was at Vanderbilt. A lot of Hilltoppers in the top 5 going against good competition. And, the Conference USA Championship is coming up at the early next week, I believe it is, when I saw the dates. I think it's the 6th through the 8th. So looking forward to that. I think we've got a few people that can compete for our individual championship, and hopefully the team will finish strong.
Softball played a weekend series versus Jacksonville State. Lost game 1, 9-1. Lost game 2, 2-3. And won game 3, 4-0 to avoid the sweep.
Yeah, softball had been playing well recently. They had, kind of turned it around. They had lost a couple series. They had won their last couple. Then it looked like they're going to get swept versus Jacksonville State. But luckily, that game 3, that 4-0, that was actually an extra innings. That was like an 11-inning game. Went into extras and they pulled it out and won 4-0. So avoid the sweep. Move on, look forward. Let's keep it going.
Moving on to baseball, they played the Mutts of MTSU. They lost game 1 16-9, won game 2 4-3, and won game 3 7-4 to win the series, the 5th series victory in a row. And as always, it's a great day, always to beat the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, Muck Fiddle, right? We got to beat them no matter what we're playing in. I don't care if we're having a thumb wrestling competition. We want to beat Middle at everything we do. We lost game 1, 16-9. It was kind of a slugfest. Got behind, tried to come back, couldn't do it. But we were able to win game 2 and game 3. 5th series victory in a row. We're still in the top, I think, top 15 of the mid major, top 25 of that baseball ranking. Just keep winning. The end of the season is drawing close. Just keep winning these series, one at a time, and just look forward to the conference tournament and hopefully making the NCAA's and making a little noise.
Well, keeping up with baseball, reliever Mason Burns named to the midseason stopper of the year watch list. He currently leads the nation in saves.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he was on the preseason watch list, and then now at the midseason point, leading the nation in saves. Pretty much, if we're getting down to the end of the game, we have a lead. We're going to call in Mr. Burns, and he's going to shut the house down. Feel the burn as it is. So that guy has just been automatic for us. He's not going to blow a game for us. So just keep that going. And, maybe if he leads the nation in saves for the year, might have a real chance of winning that award.
Oh, for sure. Moving on, Katie Eisenbarger was named Track and Field Athlete of the Week. Sophia Blanco named to the All-Conference USA Singles second team. WKU Track and Field announced the signing of thrower Luke McQueen from Liberty, Kentucky. Lady Toppers basketball announced the signing of Maya Pratcher, previously played at Auburn and Jackson State. Also signed Sophia Talegdi, a transfer from Kansas, and also Daywood Davis with an 82-yard touchdown reception, longest in USFL history.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Obviously, Katie Eisenbarger, she's the high jump goat at this point. Conference USA and WKU, she's every track meet she's threatening to break her own record. It was 1.82, I think, before the season began. Then she set 1.86 a couple weeks ago. Now it's 1.88. Track and field athlete of the week for the second time this season. Sophia Blanco, all CSA singles second team. Good honor for her. Track and field signing a thrower. He's a big boy from Liberty, Kentucky. So look forward to talking about him in the future. And then the Lady Toppers, man, they have been active in the portal, signing several high level transfers. Somebody that played at Auburn, somebody that played at Kansas will be on the Toppers this upcoming season. And then Daywood Davis doing Daywood Davis things at 82-yard touchdown, the longest of the season, the longest in USFL history. Get that man the ball in space, and he's going to make a play.
And that concludes the Red Tail Wrap-Up, brought to you by the Trent Bedding Company.
Yeah, moving on, we're going to talk about several things in this episode. We're going to talk about the NFL draft, which just happened this last week. And then we're going to talk about the portal for both basketball and football. Just, some of the results that we've seen. Some people that are leaving, some people are adding. Real quick, just want to touch on the Topsy Awards, though. That was happening last week, basically right after we recorded. Really cool event they have there at Diddle. They pretty much bring all the student athletes in. Saw Malachi was back in town and was at the award show. Not going to go through all the awards and just everybody that won and all the team awards, but just, if you follow WKU sports or any of the sports teams just on social media in general, I'm sure that you saw, just how awesome an event that looked like. Tyler, what were your thoughts? Did you see anything about the Topsies, and what did you think about? What were your takeaways from that event?
Well, I saw some of the social media posts. I think it's always a great event, kind of like the Epsies, our little version of that. It really, it can really make the athletes really push themselves to, eventually, maybe win an award or definitely compete up there. And I just think it's awesome that Western does that. Yeah, I saw like I think it was a basketball team or football team posted like best dressed and all that. It's all about the swag, and you gotta have swag to feel good.
Yeah, then looking forward to the NFL draft that just was this last weekend. Of course, we had several players that were in contention to hopefully be drafted in those 7 rounds or pick up an undrafted free agent offer. And we did have one. We had Malachi Corley that was drafted in the 3rd round. He was picked number 65 to the Jets. He was the second highest draft pick ever selected for the Hilltoppers, behind only Forrest Lamp when he went to the Chargers several years ago. After the draft concluded, Austin Reed signed an undrafted free agent deal with the Chicago Bears. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Marquise Stepp had a minicamp invite with the Jets. Nante Davis signed a minicamp invite with the New York Giants. And then we have several former Hilltoppers that have moved on over the last couple of years. And I still keep up with them. I can't help it. If you ever played at WKU, you wore that name across your jersey, your chest, and you chose to play here. And even if you decide to go on somewhere else and finish your college career, I'm still keeping up with you. So I thought this was interesting. None of these transfers got drafted. These were all undrafted free agent signings. But former kicker Braden Narveson signed with the Titans. Dayton Wade went to the Ravens. Beanie Bishop went to the Steelers. Cole Spencer to the Titans. And Gunnar Britton to the Bills. So a lot of Hilltoppers, making noise in the NFL draft there. One drafted, several getting, those free agent deals or minicamp invites. And then even several former Hilltoppers going to prospective camps. So just a lot of talent has come through Western Kentucky over the last several years. Tyler, what's your just your take on how the draft went for the Hilltoppers and even the former Hilltoppers?
Well, I was actually hoping Malachi might go up one pick and get into at least the 2nd round. I'm not mad at him going 65th overall. I think I'm pretty sure you saw the tweet that Aaron Rodgers put out right after they drafted Malachi, and then you saw the video that the Jets put out of them trading up or trading picks to get Malachi, which is always good to see. Austin Reed going to the Bears. Listen, Caleb Williams in my opinion, he's a head case. I mean, the boy cried up in the stands getting his butt kicked. I don't think he's going to do good in the NFL. Of course, that's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. It ain't worth much. I think this Austin Reed could definitely step up here, show that he ain't a weirdo, and he don't wear his emotions on his sleeve. And I feel like he could work his way into the starting job on Sundays. I just feel that way. I hope he does it. I'm not a fan of the Bears, but if Austin Reed is going to be the QB up there, I will definitely cheer for him. Marquis Stepp, I saw his numbers. I'm just glad that he did get a minicamp invite. I wish it kind of was an undrafted free agent. And it'd be awesome to see him go to Jets with Malachi. Nante Davis, friend of the show. I am so thrilled that he got a minicamp invite. I think that's awesome. Go do great things, young man. Kick some ass up there in New York. Get on the Giants 53-man roster, and let's show them what you're made of. And now moving on, Braden Narveson. I am a Tennessee Titans fan. I admit it. So whenever I see Narveson and Spencer get on down there, I think that's awesome. But I'm definitely going to buy a jersey of Corley, and if Reed and Stepp and Davis gets on, I'm definitely going to get them jerseys. Beanie Bishop, I kept up with him whenever he's playing at West Virginia, so I'm glad to see him get an invite to the Steelers. And I think it's awesome that even though they're not repping WKU no more, that they do move on into the pros. And yeah, I'll still support them because they once repped Western. So yeah, definitely.
That's what it's all about. It's all about making it to the next level. When you're coming to play college football at the D1 level, And some of these guys, they just, whether they get here and they decide they want to try their last year somewhere else, or they get a P5 offer, or whatever it just may be. I think a couple of those guys went to Texas Tech, Ole Miss. I mean, we just, coaching changes happen, and sometimes you follow your coach, it happens. So, but I'm really happy for all those guys that got an opportunity in the NFL. I'm right there with you. I think Austin Reed could definitely make some noise. They just ran Justin Fields out of town. If Caleb Williams gets in there and has a rough go, or heaven forbid if he gets injured, you don't want to see anybody get injured. But if Austin Reed gets a chance, we know he can sling the ball if he's healthy. He had some injuries this last year and wasn't up to his full potential. But if he's healthy and gets in there and has an opportunity, he could definitely make a name for himself. Marquise Step, I mean, he's a tough running back. I mean, he's built like a freaking brick house. If you give him the ball, he's going to make some noise. Then Najee Davis, like you said, man, we're really happy for him. He was the first ever guest on Topper Talk, and it's really awesome that we've got to follow him and talk to him before the season ever started. Just talk to him about his journey, high school, college, just everything he went to get to Western, and how he was just ready and hungry to make a name for himself. And now here he is. His birthday was just last week, and he posted, he was like, "Man, the only thing I want for my birthday is a phone call next week." What happens? He gets a phone call next week. He's going to minicamp with the New York Giants. Then the other former Hilltoppers, getting a chance in the pros. I mean, it just really says a lot about what we have going on in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Just everything and all the players that we have coming through here. There's still a lot of talent on this roster. People that are going to make noise and get their opportunity at the next level in the years to come. But I'm really happy and really excited for all of these guys, and the NFL draft. Really looking forward to see what those guys do. Now, looking forward to the transfer portal, which just closed today as we record on the evening of May 1st. The transfer portal did close today. Now that is for non-graduates. If you're a graduate transfer, you can transfer at any time. Basic free agency. But the transfer portal has closed. We've talked about a few of these guys before, but I want to talk about the basketball guys first. We know Brandon Newman has entered the transfer portal for the basketball team, as well as Dante Allen. They've been in there for a week or two now. And then BJ Marable just entered the portal yesterday before the portal closed. We know he was a reserve, kind of that 11th, 12th guy off the bench. He didn't really see a lot of playing time. But then we have also added a couple guys. The first one, we mentioned him before, but Braxton Bayless. We officially signed him. That was announced. He is a 6'2", 185-pound guard. He transferred here from Niagara University. He averaged 11.5 points per game and 2.1 rebounds per game. And he previously played for Coach Plana at Indian Hills. Then we also signed Julius Thedford. He's a 6'4" guard. He's a top 5 player in the Tennessee class of 2024. He averaged 21 points per game and 7 rebounds per game. He played AAU ball this past summer with Cade Unsold, who is also another freshman signee coming in this year. And while he was playing AAU ball, he shot over 50% from the three on the AAU circuit. So just, a couple good additions there. Obviously, we've got some guys that have hit the portal. The door's not shut. Any of those guys could potentially return. We've seen that happen multiple times in basketball and football. So I'm not closing the door on any of those guys. If they wish to come back and the staff has room for them, obviously we'll welcome them back. But at this point, they're in the portal. And we do have those 2 official signees that have been announced, as well as Cade Unsold, who was already previously signed before the coaching change. So Tyler, what do you think about the basketball guys and just the portal and how it's shaking out on that end?
It always sucks to lose Brandon Newman, Dante Allen. It sucks to lose experience like that because Brandon Newman, he's I think this is going to be his 5th year, right? And Dante, same way, they both went through senior night. So it does suck to lose them. BJ Marable, he didn't see the court that much this year. He was reserved. So, it is what it is. But with these signees, I mean, you got Julius Thedford, 50% from the circuit on the AAU. Now, granted, I don't think they play much defense down there. It's been a while since I watched an AAU game, but it's great that he's going to have kind of chemistry with Cade. That's going to be good coming in, 2 freshmen. Going to be going to know each other's game a little bit. And then Braxton Bayless, he knows what Coach Hank wants, what Coach Hank needs. And I feel like he's going to really come in hungry, just like I've said with, people talk crap about getting D2, D3 players from these small little community colleges. Listen, if they're hungry and they want to excel, I would almost take them over someone who's going to be like a 5-star and be lazy because they were given everything all the time. And it's the same way with coaches. I know some people weren't happy with or wanted a name brand coach. That's fine, but if they don't come in hungry, they don't come in wanting to prove themselves, might as well just leave them out back because they just ain't going to be worth nothing. But I think I would really like to see Brandon Newman withdraw his name and come back. And I would take Dante. But I just feel like what we're losing, what we're bringing in, I feel like Western basketball is going to be in good space.
Yeah, whatever happens, I mean, I never get too caught up in the scholarship numbers because that stuff always works it out. There's a lot of rumblings on the ground if you keep your ear close enough of players, other players that may not be playing for us next year. We're not gonna talk about that at this moment because there's been nothing officially announced. But the scholarship numbers will always work itself out in whatever fashion that is. But I like the guys that we're bringing in. If Dante and Brandon and BJ choose to go somewhere else, I wish them the best of luck. If they choose to come back, we'd love to have their services. They're already familiar with the system, and we'll see how that works out. Now, we did talk previously on other episodes about the fact that we need to hire 2 assistant coaches, one to replace Hank Plona himself as he's been elevated to head coach, and then we talked about Robert Guster, who was hired by Steve Lutz to be an assistant coach at Oklahoma State. Within the last couple of days, they did announce one of those official positions being filled, and that is assistant coach Eric Murphy. He was a former head coach at Florida Southwestern State College for 6 years. He had 143 and 34 overall record, and he sent 34 former players overall to the next level. So he looks to be a guy with a lot of experience, probably some recruiting ties down in that Florida area, as that's where he's been the last 6 years. So hopefully somebody that can help with our recruiting ties and just being a solid addition for Hank Plona as he builds his first staff as head coach here at Western Kentucky. Now we're going to move forward and talk about the football transfer portal and the signees that we've had. First is some, sadder news. Jaquez Evans officially committed to Baylor University over the last couple of days. Musa Berry, wide receiver, he had entered the portal a few days ago, and then he withdrew his name just a couple days later. So whatever that issue was going on there, obviously that was resolved. Cornerback Daniel Edwards, who was a transfer from Illinois, has entered the portal. And then we had DeMarcus Elliott, who is a local kid from here in Bowling Green High School. He signed as a preferred walk-on. A few other guys that entered the portal. We had defensive tackle Marquise Black, defensive lineman Ryan Williams, linebacker Trent Zappi. I think we all recognize that name. Brother of Mr. Bailey. Running back Teron Keith, linebacker Lonnie Davis, cornerback Ricky Davis, cornerback Anthony Johnson Jr., and then defensive back Javaris Dumas. Right now, as it stands, again, this is May 1st, it's pushing 8 p.m. Those are the names that have officially entered the transfer portal. The portal has closed. There can't be any new entrants into the portal, but that does not mean that we won't hear any other names announced. If someone has already initiated the paperwork before the deadline of May 1st was reached, we could see more guys enter the portal that may have already filled out the paperwork, just not been processed. So, there definitely could be a few more guys, and several of these guys definitely could come back. That door is always going to be open. Depending on what Coach Helton and the players themselves have going on. But Tyler, what are your thoughts on this group of guys that have at this point they've entered the portal and could potentially leave?
Well, I really hate to lose Donut. Jaquez Evans, he demanded a lot of attention whenever he was down there on the defensive end. And he would get back and he would basically camp in the offensive, backfield. So losing him sucks. I hope he does great things at Baylor. I hope he goes down there and sets records. I'll definitely watch some Baylor games just to see him. But man, I mean, Trent Zappy, I kind of hope he pulls his name out because I think it'd be awesome to have the Zappy bros, both do great things for Western. Anthony Johnson Jr., another hard one to lose. I really hope he's able to withdraw his name and come back. It's good to see Musa Berry because, he had some passes thrown to him last season. He caught some were overthrown. He just couldn't get to them. Maybe a little miscommunication between him and Reed. It'd be nice to see Ricky Davis come back. But, I mean, Helton is good and great at the portal game, finding those players that are out there still kind of floating in the ether. Hopefully he can pull some in to replenish our numbers that we're losing.
Yeah, speaking of Coach Helton and staff being just really good at the portal, we have had several guys over the last few days that have committed to play for WKU, and I don't think any of these signees have been officially announced by WKU, but they were all shared by the WKU recruiting account and from their personal account. So a few of these guys, we have quarterback Lataj Wright from Fort Valley, that's in Georgia State University. Then we had cornerback Marvelous Owens. He's on the all-name team before he ever plays a game here. Marvelous Owens from Butte College. Then we had safety Keyshawn Swanson from Troy. We had a kicker, Jackson Smith from UK. If you saw the graphic, WKU background, UK jersey, my man needs to burn that. He's coming to Bowling Green now. Get rid of that blue. Then we had offensive lineman Traven Traylor from Alabama State. Then we had a flurry of more Troy guys. We've already announced one, but we had defensive lineman Zach Edwards from Troy. We had offensive lineman Blake Austin from Troy. And, those guys are following, did I say Bryce Childress? Wide receiver Bryce Childress from Troy as well. So we've had 4 total guys come from Troy, which is not a coincidence because we did sign offensive line coach Joe Bernardi from Troy. And obviously he's just bringing, the whole squad with him. Who knows? There might be a couple more, before fall gets around. Who knows? We might just be Troy North by the time we get to the season because we're bringing some guys. They beat us last year, so it is what it is. And quite frankly, a couple linemen and a wide receiver and a safety. Their defense held us in check. They won that game, so I'm not mad at them. Come join the Hilltoppers. But Tyler, what about these? The guys that have committed now to come play to Western. What do you think about that class of guys that we have so far?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I seen on that Keyshawn Swanson, he wrote on Twitter, he was talking about his highlights of him playing this past season or the past time at Troy. And one of his highlights was actually forcing a fumble, recovering said fumble at the Western Kentucky Troy game. So, I'm glad that was a highlight of his. I'm glad he's coming up here to play for us. Marvelous Owens, dude, with a name like that, dude's, you're right, all name team, and the dude's got to kick ass on the field. I think getting that kicker from UK, I think that's a good pickup. Hopefully he can prove himself. But I think we're good with the Troy defense. We got Bryce Childress. If we could get that 6 foot whatever tall guy from Troy, that wide receiver who at the halftime caught that Hail Mary pass. I hated that pass, but if we somehow get him to come up here and do that for us, I'd be happy. But I think this, from what I'm seeing right here, this class right here is going to be pretty good. And I think, like I said, Hilton does great things with the transfer portal, and he just knows how to work it, man. So let's hopefully get some more in here.
That should be his nickname, Hilton. I mean, since we're the Hilltoppers, he should be Hilton, not the hotel, but Tyson Hilton. But no, I think this class is just a prime example of something I always say: the portal giveth, the portal taketh away. We're losing some talent for sure. We've had several guys that have moved on to other opportunities. But we'll continue to follow those guys as they move on. If they move to the NFL like we did this year, we'll keep up those guys. Then we're going to bring in more talent as well to replenish the guys that we've lost. Looking forward to see how they perform in a WKU jersey. We're going to be fine. Yeah, I think we have a good team. Coach Helton is always at the forefront of the transfer portal and what our needs are to be competitive in Conference USA. And we're just going to update that whenever, it's deemed necessary. As we got to the end of the spring window and the transfer portal closing, it just seemed like the right time to talk about all the movement, the additions and subtractions, both for Hilltopper football and basketball that we've had. Obviously, as we get into fall ball and we have the Field Steel magazine coming out, close to July 4th, and fall ball starting, and then there will inevitably be more transfers. Obviously, we'll update and talk about the rosters and the movement and just who we see as starters for each position. Projected breakdowns of who are losing, who are gaining, just what we expect from every single position for Hilltopper football as August draws nearer and nearer after the summer. But I'm really looking forward to that. I just enjoy talking about all the new players. I hate losing anybody, but guys are going to move on. That is the era of college football and basketball that we're in. People are going to have other opportunities, name, image, and likeness, or whatever it is that draws them to other schools. And then we're also going to provide opportunities, to other student athletes that want to come here and represent Western Kentucky. So I'm really excited for that. And, my final words, we have graduation coming up this weekend. I did see that 81 Hilltopper student athletes are graduating this weekend. Do want to congratulate each and every one of not only the student athletes, but just the regular everyday students as well, getting to the finish line. You're this close now. Finals are done at this point. You just got to go get that degree. So, go do great things, make smart decisions, get through this weekend, celebrate accordingly, do it safely and responsibly, and get out into the real world and just, represent yourself and WKU to the highest ability that you have. And, really looking forward to, obviously fall ball as the summer is drawing nearer now and everything that comes with it. So Tyler, hit us with your final words and take us out of here.
No, you're right. For all the graduating players, graduating students, go out, be safe, celebrate accordingly, because now it really matters. But no, it's great to see. It was great to see Malachi being the first player from a Kentucky university, the whole state of Kentucky, from all the P5 schools and everybody else, to get drafted on in the NFL draft. I'm hoping for the best for him. Reed, Step, Nante Davis, and all the previous toppers. I hope the best for them. I hope they are able to make it and live out their dreams that they want. To all the players that are transferring out, you always have a home here. And I'm hoping that some of them will change their mind and be like, nah, I'm just going to stay here. Shoot, I had something else. I had some trash talk. Oh yeah, Dane Key. Hey, if you want to be a good wide receiver and get your name out there, you're gonna have to leave UK. They're just not it. Offensive line, garbage. You end up getting
quarterback garbage.
quarterback
Garbage.
I mean, you end up getting some, maybe fourth string from Georgia. Ooh. But no, if you really want to do something great, following your brother's footsteps, come down here and make a legacy for yourself at WKU. Your brother did good things here. He showed you that you ain't got to go fumble some passes up in as a Wildcat to get to the NFL. But no, I mean, it's great to be able to see the Red Towel wrap up. Luke Fuller, Katie Craig, Katie Eisenbarger, Grace Turner. It's awesome to see them players doing that things and going out there and representing WKU to the fullest, setting records, finishing top 10 in golfing events, winning them. It's just amazing. And, the Hill has something special going on, and I feel like more people need to go out. If you're able to, go out and watch a softball game, watch a baseball game, because they are entertaining. And as always, it's always go Tops. And with that, Moff, who has it better than us, baby?
Nobody, buddy. You always know it.
Go Tops.
Go Tops. Later, guys.
See you
On Topper Talk.